Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Elisabeth here, and today we're looking at Craft Consortium again. If you enjoyed the papers that Clare Therese Gray designed, and they include Farm Meadow, Circus, which was really popular, Noel, then you are going to love this collection. You'll see that it's all about the woodland, and the papers that I'm going to show you are the 12 by 12, but they also come in 6 by 6. So you've got 40 double-sided sheets. The majority of the papers are 200 GSM, and some of the pearlescent ones are 150 GSM. So then you've also got that they're acid free, and some of them are also embossed. So let's dive in. So here are the beautiful woodland papers themselves. So you've got a mixture of subtle blues and raspberry pinks and yellows, and on the cover, as with all Craft Consortium books, you have got some extra toppers that you can cut out. So these are slightly larger than the stamps, which I'll show you shortly, but I do struggle to cut into these. But what I have used on this particular occasion is I've used the colouring effects and the way that you can build up layers of colour. I have taken from these elements here. So let me quickly flick through. I have made my design team samples, so the product itself should be launching, I think, on Creative Craft on the 1st of December. But I've had a quick look at it, and I've made some samples, and I've used these pages here. You've got bird feathers and ferns, all interspersed with pretty wild flowers. So you've got a pale blue background here, and then a white through onto the other side. So let me quickly flick through. We've got more beautiful feathers, and you'll be surprised how well these work as a background paper. They're also great for covering boxes and for making personal gifts with. So you could cover a tag. Let me bring them up a little bit so that you can see the designs and the colours. And then you've got the birds themselves. So the pheasant feathers are within here. And there's the pheasant itself. We've got blackbirds and chaffinches, and somewhere along the line there is a robin, I think. I've got blue tits as well. Testing my bird knowledge here, but they're really pretty. We then move on to some of the wild animals. So you've got your badger and your butterfly and the squirrels, and then these adorable toadstools alongside the hedgehogs. So again, I'll bring up the papers so that you can see the designs. And then this is one of my favourite pages. This has got background of blackberries and hawthorns and rose hips, and it's really pretty, and it just works as a background paper. So you can layer them up and use all the different textures. Then you move on to another set of woodland animals, and you've got your stag, and you've got this really sweet, it's a tree trunk stump, but you can add the little elements to it. And then the pheasant flying away. We then have the grand oak tree, and later on you'll see some really pretty silver embellishments that will make sense once you see the oak tree here. And keep flicking. Obviously I've used some of these papers. These colours are beautiful as well, these background colours. It's a really subtle, it's like an old-fashioned olive green, but it's really subtle. And this one here is a very warm sort of fawn grey, and it really lifts up the animals. So when you put them all together, you've got really subtle effects. Then you've got your Bambi page. These you can easily cut out. If you're good on a scan and cut machine, something like that, that process would probably work really well for you, but I'm not the world's best on it. I love this page too. So you've got the white background, but it's not a pure white. It's almost like a hint of grey in it. And then you've got this dark, I would say that it's almost chocolate brown. It's not a complete black. It's not so harsh with a jet black. It's virtually black with a hint of brown. And for me, that really works with these papers. But of course, if you like the brighter shades, then this side would work with you. So take your pick. And keep going. You've got your hedgehogs, your family of hedgehogs, along with your fungi. Clare Therese must spend a lot of time watching how the wildlife moves around her garden or her farm, because I believe she lives on a farm in the southeast of England, and she must really understand about drawing fungi to get these realistic images. We've got a page of leaves. These have a slight sheen on them. And then we keep going. This is another lovely page as well. I haven't got many of these pages left. This is your pearlescent paper. This is the prettiest pale blue and grey. And I really enjoyed working with that paper. You can feel me stroking it. It's almost like something tangible that you want to work with. The colours are incredible. You've then got this herringbone pattern in a very subtle gold, and then this grey, kind of bluey grey. And when you take these papers back, you can see how they all mix together, and then how you can use them in your scrapbooking or on cards or in your paper making projects. This grey here very subtly goes with this grey right at the back of the pad. So as usual, everything mixes and matches together. You've then got the perfect set of elements at the back with this stunning wreath and the old oak tree, and then the elements of the stag and this owl. So a great start to the set, and then we'll move on to the stamps that come with it. So you've got, I believe, 2 sets of stamps. I get my collection slightly early so that I can work on it, so I don't always know everything that's included in the kit, but I'm presuming that we've got 2 sets of stamps. So again, you can see the pheasant and all these animals. These birds are so lovely to stamp and to colour in that you'll really enjoy. If you've never tried stamping before, try it with this set. So just get yourself a good ink pad, and then just give it a go, because I ended up spending the afternoon just stamping and cutting out. So let me see if I can find you the birds, and you'll see just how well these images stamp out. And then of course you can colour them in. We've got the hedgehog and the squirrel, and then you've got tiny little elements like the snail. So a great set of stamps that you'll be able to use at any time of the year, but they work really well with the papers in the set. So there you go. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 stamps. So there's your badger. They're really clear images. So even if you don't want to colour them in, you can heat emboss them, or just stamp them with some white ink and then use your watercolour washes over the top. We then have the wooden elements. I have used some of these. You usually get about 10 to 12 wooden elements, and some of these are already on my project, so we'll try and count them as we go. So we've got the badger, the squirrel. I know that there is another larger stag, and then you've got your pheasant and your bunny. And those you can stick on with PVA glue and they will stay on your project. One of my favourite embellishments are the enamel dots. So you've got 80 in this set. So let me bring it up closer. So you've got it's like a blackcurrant purple, a very subtle peachy cream, a pure white embellishment, a very vibrant yellow, a deeper peach, it's almost like an emerald green pearl, subtle brown, and then a raspberry red. So they're always a great way to finish off. And then bring these in. These are the superb metal charms that will work well with the oak tree. So let me bring this up close. We have a very tiny acorn. I don't even know how they begin to make these. So I'm calling it an acorn. I've just realised they're pine cones, aren't they? But I think they're stunning. And then you've got the leaf to go with it. I seem to recall that Craft Consortium have already got some acorns in a brassy colour, so I'll have to look up the details of those, because those would work well with the oak tree. Then we've got the washi tape, which of course you can die cut into. So this one has a selection of the birds, quite a wide tape, that one. And this one is your floral tape. Let me just pull this through. These are very high quality, these tapes, so they work well alongside the papers. Or as I say, you can stick this onto a piece of card and then die cut into it. I'll show you where I did that on one of my cards. So let's very quickly just revisit the embellishments. So you've got 2 tapes, you've got 80 enamel dots, you've got these wonderful metal charms, so there's 25 of those in total. You've got your wooden embellishments, and then you've got your 2 stamp sets. So if that is the collection, then you've got a lot to be working with there. So let's move these out of the way, and I will show you some of my design team samples before I have to pop them in the post. So here's card number 1. Let me bring this in a little bit so that you can see. So what I've taken from the Woodland Collection are these papers. Now this is the dark paper with the robin and the stag, and I just thought that this made a very pretty, quick and easy Christmas card. So I've used my own dies and sentiments from other companies, but it just goes to show that the Craft Consortium papers will work with anything. So then I have a second card here. I'll just move that in and take this one out. We'll move this one in. And here I stamped the birds with brown ink and used polychromo pencils to quickly colour them in. And then I took the feather papers and backed the card, and then I layered up these coins with the birds on, and I didn't include any sentiments on this one. I was undecided, and I thought, well, we can always add a sentiment at a later date, but it highlights just how easy and how effective these birds are. So let's move on to another bird. So we've gone from the garden birds to the pheasant. So for this particular card, I die cut a circle, and then I stamped out the pheasant with some grey ink, and then I made a mask which I put over the bird, and then I very lightly brushed some pale blue ink over the top to break up the white and to give the illusion that the bird was flying. Then I went back and I coloured in using my pens and pencils just to bring a little subtle colour to the feathers, and then I used a personal stamp to add a sentiment. Then I die cut that leaf, you know, that beautiful leaf paper, to make a frame. So talking of frames, this is one of the Craft Consortium frames. So there's quite a lot to this card. If you've followed my channel before, you'll know that I'm very fond of this frame die that Craft Consortium released at the beginning of the year, basically because it makes such a quick and easy frame. So if you want to know which one it is the A5 Deco frame, and it's a really solid die. You've got other elements to it, but I like to take the frame itself and then I use the inside and I flip the colours, and I use this one for nativity when I layered them all up, but for me it just works as a frame for a 5x7 card. You'll then see that I use the life words from Enjoy Life, and again you've got the layers here and you've got the words themselves, and they work really well over and over again for all these different styles of cards. So I would highly recommend buying those. I'll pop a link in and then you can check them out for yourself. So this time I took all of these little stamped, you know, I said to you that I stamped out all the different birds, and I spent the afternoon colouring all the different elements. So by the time I came to put this card together, it was just a matter of building up a picture. So you've got the leaves, and then I've added the bird on top, and then I made another little scene down here with the tree trunk and the snail. And then for this one here, I stamped the toadstools in red, because then that means you don't have to spend so much time colouring in. And then there's our friendly pheasant again, and then it's little touches like cutting the life out from the same paper so it becomes part of the background. But I rather like that card. A lot of time went into it, but I think it was worth it. I've then got a patchwork style card. So this time I was using all the scraps from the papers that I had used previously and put them into strips and layered them up to make a patchwork quilt type of effect. This tree here is one of those amazing wooden embellishments, and then I finished it off with the enamel dots, so you can see how these dots blend in with the colours on the background paper, and it's those little touches that I enjoy adding to my cards. We then got a bit of a blingy number. So this is my blessings card, and this time I used another one of the Craft Consortium dies, and this is the A5 ornate frame. So I took this section here, which again you will have seen on my other cards, but this time I die cut it in the gold glitter card that you can find on the website, and I also die cut it in a chocolate brown, and I off-centered the front frame, and what it's done is it's given you a shadow effect. So to carry on with the shadow effect, I used one of my own dies to layer up this sentiment with the chocolate brown, just bringing everything together all the time. And there's that stunning leaf paper, and here is one of the stag wooden embellishments. So once you've got the idea and you've got all the elements, it's quite a simple card to put together, but I think that would be a lovely Christmas card to send. And then I've got one more card here, which again brings in the Enjoy cutting dies, and again I've added a little bit more bling, but this time I've made it a bit more spring-like. So this time it's all about the Flora and those pretty stamps, which I stamped in a dark green. I used my VersaFine Clares, and I use the colours of the inks to help me with the colouring of the stamp. So don't think that you have to stamp in black and then add colour. Use the inks to help enhance the design. So it's a matter of layering up all of these different flowers around. This was the frame from Craft Consortium, and I've added some of my own leaves just to add a bit of texture, and then I intersperse the butterflies and the little birdie up here and the toadstools, and that matches in with the toadstools on the backing paper. So I was really pleased with how that card turned out as well. These cards have taken me a long time because of all the different elements, but sometimes when I'm working I don't come up with card designs straight away. So a good tip is to stamp out what's included in the collections and start colouring, and don't think of them as something on a card. Then when you come to take the papers, you'll suddenly realise that you've got ready-made embellishments that you can add to your card, and you'll find that the design will just come together. So don't always think that card making and crafting is about a finished result. For me, the enjoyment with these was stamping these out and colouring them in and not really knowing what I was going to do next. And this card for me is really quite a personal piece of art, so I hope you like it too. So before I pop these in the post, so these will go off to Craft Consortium, and I hope the team there enjoy. I made a little book as well, and this is thanks to my friend Bernadette Taylor. I'll leave you the link to her YouTube channel because she was the one that gave me the idea for this book. So I'll show you the book first, and it's a very easy to put together little book that you could use as a notebook. But I've taken the papers and some of the stamps and just laid them onto the pages. That's one of my favourite pages because I do really like this background paper, and then you can imagine the pheasant flying through there, and then you've got your badger. It's a really sweet set of papers, and I can imagine using them for scrapbooks and for memory books and for your journals, especially when you match them up with the stamps, because then you can add your own elements. And these are those fabulous little metal embellishments that I so enjoy. And then I made a band to hold it all together, and I just took some of the stamps again and layered them up But I can't take credit for the idea for this because, as I say, this was shown to me by my friend Bernadette Taylor. So I'll leave you the link so that you can see how she made the originals. So these are the samples that will be going off to Craft Consortium. So let's just bring them in so that you can see them one last time before they go into the post. And then what I'll do is I'll take photos of them and I will leave them on my Facebook page and on my Pinterest page and on Instagram so that you can see them in a bit more detail. Perhaps you can let me know which one is your favourite. I think at the end of the day, for some reason, this one is mine, just because I enjoyed the process of putting it together. So that's all from me for now. Thank you very much for watching. Please do subscribe to my channel. Let me know what you enjoy about this particular collection, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.